What's good? It's your boy Fanon. And yeah, I'm back on the heavyweight picture discussion. Looks like Alexander Povetkin and Anthony Joshua are going to face off with one another. And Eddie Hearn had a couple interesting things to say. Now, before I get into that, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and attend the live streams. Definitely want to grow. We had some really great conversations yesterday, so I certainly hope that you'll accept my invitation to attend. Also, thank you to everybody who supports through Super Chat in the live streams. It really helps the cause that we're trying to support. So thank you guys very much. Now, before I get into this, I'm going to say a couple words about what's going on in the heavyweight division. I've been listening to a lot of boxing commentators on my favorite place to talk about boxing and listen to boxing commentary, which is YouTube. And I think my perspective on this whole heavyweight situation right now just keeps changing, but I think that it has matured to the point where I can appreciate where we are. And what we see right now it's historical. It really is. Because I don't think that I guess a better way to say it is not historical, but it is, because everything is historical. Everything happens in history, right? So yesterday was history. But I mean, it's a unique experience for me to watch something real time. For example, we attended there's a great boxing forum on Marlowe's Corner that in the evening time, several times a week, does a boxing forum where you do trivia questions and you test your boxing knowledge and see how many very knowledgeable boxing fans to see who can answer the most questions. Now, I think I do fairly well. A certain uploader beats the brakes off of me, but he will remain nameless because he doesn't have a channel, and I'm not admitting that the dude is a little quicker than me. But regardless, one of the questions came up last night, and it was about who was known as the first boxing promoter, the first major boxing, national level boxing promoter. And that, of course, for people who are boxing historians know, is Tech Rickert. And he was a promoter for Joe Gans, and he was a promoter, I do believe, his most famous boxer was Jack Dempsey. Put on stadium shows, right, back in the 20s and 30s, the teens, 20s and 30s. I do believe that was the date range for good old Tex, and made it a show. Right. So he was the first major promoter, but I wasn't there. I wasn't around at that time. So I didn't get to see exactly how he went about his business. Although I have a suspicion that, he could get kind of grimy. Now, that said, we now are in a situation where we have somebody that I can really watch be grimy. And watch him from pretty much the time that he comes up onto the international stage. I've known who he was, and that is Eddie Hearn. Now, Eddie Hearn is a used car salesman on an international level. And what he says in this interview today with Eddie Hearn about Anthony Joshua is just... I'm sitting back and I'm enjoying watching this thing unfold, because there is an aspect of boxing that I really do appreciate, and that is the business side of it. I appreciate it because I understand it at a high level. And because of the job that I do to provide my real income, is closely connected to it in the type of things that I work on. So just listening to Eddie Hearn tell stories And watch how he tries to pull these negotiations off is absolutely hilarious to me. So he makes this, he says something about Deontay Wilder, saying that Deontay Wilder knows he has to go where Anthony Joshua tells him to go, and that they are going to try to sign an agreement with Deontay Wilder before the Alexander Povetkin bout happens. And so let me go through the article then, and I'll discuss exactly why I think that's so funny. And of course, he starts it with saying something that not even he believes, especially if this bout takes place in the UK. Hearn worried. Povetkin is incredibly risky bout for Joshua. Eddie Hearn, promoter of IBF, IBO, WBA, WBO heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua, who's 21-0 with 20 KOs, is very concerned if his boxer steps into the ring with mandatory challenger Alexander Povetkin. The two sides are in talks after the World Boxing Association ordered the two boxers to face each other. Povetkin was featured on Joshua's undercard in March at Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. He secured a brutal KO victory over Olympic bronze medal winner and bum David Price. And Joshua won a 12-round unanimous decision over Joseph Parker in the main event. Povetkin, an Olympic gold medal winner and former WBA champion, is viewed by Hearn as a serious contender to derail the possible unification between Joshua and WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. It's an incredibly risky bout. It might be a little bit of a mad one to take before Wilder, but that's Joshua. Hearn said on Thursday. He doesn't care. He wants a challenge. He doesn't want easy bouts, Hearn said to Daily Mail. The deal for the match with Povetkin is close to done. The two sides are still negotiating the details for the bout with Wilder, but they are not there with respect to a monetary deal. Joshua has made it clear that he will only face Wilder in the UK. But the WBC champ wants to be properly compensated for that scenario. The Povetkin deal is virtually done. The Wilder one is not. But we're talking every day, Hearn said. If it's Povetkin next, the Wilder bout will definitely be signed before we go into that bout. Wilder understands he has to go where Joshua tells him to. He knows and he understands that at the moment Joshua's telling him, you have to come to the UK. He knows he's up for that, but there are a lot of things that have to be worked out. Yeah. One of the things that have to be worked out is Anthony Joshua growing a pair. That's the main one. However, the thing that may interest me in this is several things. It seems to me as if Eddie Hearn is doing this of like a little round robin tournament. And because Joshua faced, what's his name? Joshua faced Parker in his last bout. So Parker now then faces in his next bout a boxer, Dillian White, Joseph Parker now faces two matchroom boxers in a row. Also, Povetkin now is now on two matchroom boxing cards in a row. Anthony Joshua, all his cards are on matchroom boxing cards together. And so it just seems to me, if you remember that Eddie Hearn had talked about an 8 match plan for Deontay Wilder, and he laid out pretty much everybody that has been in this circle are the same people he talked about a year ago. And it's just coming out to fruition that this is the exact, pretty much with a couple changes, right? Pulev doesn't want anything. He couldn't throw Pulev in the mix because Pulev didn't want to face Joshua when there was Takam, and also I do believe that Carlos Takam also had faced Povetkin at one point in time. So it's just kind of this whole circular thing going on in the head with as far as the matches that are being made by Matchroom, where it's borderline all in-house bouts. And, just trying to go around this circle where they really milk the situation for as long as they can possibly milk the situation. And I do believe that all of these bouts would be a lot easier to make if everybody signed with Matchroom. But this tone that he takes with Deontay Wilder, because at this point in time, I think that they're just using Deontay Wilder's name. Now, that might be hard for some people to wrap their head around, that when he says, that we're still working on and talking every day about this Deontay Wilder bout. But Deontay Wilder has to go where Anthony Joshua tells him to go. See, that's why I couldn't be a boxer. I couldn't be in those type of situations, because I just would tell, and I'm hoping right now that Deontay Wilder just goes on about his business and lets Anthony Joshua just do whatever Anthony Joshua wants to do, whatever, because there's not that many heavyweights. There really isn't. There's not very many. There's not a lot of top guys, and eventually he's going to run. I mean, and when I mean eventually, I mean like the bout after next, he's going to run out of people to face. Really, he's already run out of people to face. This is Alexander Povetkin is almost 40 years old. He lost to Klitschko. He's a two-time drug cheat. And quite honestly, man, he didn't even look very good against David Price until, the last part when he beat David Price. And the bout before that, I think he might have been in there with Dukakis, and he didn't look very good against Dukakis. I don't think that if this bout takes place in the UK, I don't think Anthony Joshua was worried about Alexander Povetkin at all. And I know my man Sal Gutierrez talks about, the Russian Mike Tyson, but I don't think I think that's good humor. But I'm just not, and never have been very impressed by Alexander Povetkin. And he's not a small heavyweight, but he's kind of a short heavyweight. And, so he is a level above Carlos Takam, right? I think he's a level below, Luis Ortiz. But, he's got a name, so they're going to ride with it. But soon these names are going to run out. And I just think that I would much rather see at this point, because I'm tired. I get tired of the disrespect. And I get and listening to the way this guy talks, and just the arrogance and the Tex Rickard-ish persona is kind of it's just getting old. But it is enjoyable watching this happen, where you really do have a guy that is trying to milk everybody. I mean, he's trying to milk the situation to the nth degree, and you get to see it like on all fronts from Eddie Hearn. You get to see him. He's literally going after. Now, the heavyweight division, the interesting thing is the heavyweight division is the top of boxing. It really is. But he's attempting to parlay one good boxer into. He's trying to take over the boxing world with Anthony Joshua. He's challenging networks, right, with this DAZN deal. He's trying to take over the PBC's market, right? And he's trying to take the heavyweight division. He's trying to attack networks, and he's trying to take over the United States promotional scene, all off the back of a just passed off of one decent heavyweight boxer. And I gotta applaud him. I mean, he really is. That is what you tell somebody is trying to absolutely maximize something. And it's fun to watch. Now, I can sit here and look at the guy and be like, hey, man, you know, the tactics that he uses to do these things, right? The tactics that he uses to do it, like you just watch and listen to him tell a story like, okay, it's Monday. He said this. Let's see what happens. Is Monday at 12. Let's wait till Monday at 6, right? And see what, and just, Google him a couple times, wait around, go to a couple boxing pages, a couple forums. Somebody would have found something. And it's every time. Right. So on that, I like to think of it as like transaction on transaction basis or incident by incident. You can just kind of see that the guy is full of it. But when you look at the big picture that this guy is trying to accomplish, it is truly, truly audacious. I think Anthony Joshua, we had a good conversation about with Mr. Boxing Today. If you've not checked out Mr. Boxing Today 2's channel, definitely check out Mr. Boxing Today's 2 channel. And he talked about a series of people, historical heavyweights, and where he thought how Anthony Joshua would do with them. And there are guys like Jerry Cooney, right? And it's like, maybe I might favor Anthony Joshua over Jerry Cooney, but Larry Holmes, not a chance, right? And Larry Holmes, not a chance. George Foreman, not a chance. Lennox Lewis, not a chance. Evander Holyfield, not a chance. Mike Tyson, prime Mike Tyson, not a chance, right? It's like that's where he ranks in the minds of people who really do pay attention, in the minds of many people who really do watch like heavyweight boxing from a historical perspective. And you can hear it also in the people now like Joseph, like Teddy Atlas and Roy Jones, who basically act like he's a prospect, right? Like he's not ready for Deontay Wilder. So Eddie Hearn is trying to take over the boxing world on the back of a good prospect. And I got to tell you, man, that is, if he's able to pull this off, that's a historical magic trick. It's a historical magic trick. If he can take the PBC boxers, right? And here I'm giving this dude credit. If he can take Gervonta Davis, if he can get Gervonta Davis, Errol Spence Jr., and Deontay Wilder to sign with him off of smoke and mirror promises, coming off of a platform that more than likely isn't even going to be here in 2 years, because the zone is not going to take off in the United States. But if he gets those guys under contract, he can move them right up off of the zone and right on to Sky Sports or right on to US pay-per-view or whatever, and basically take advantage of all the work that was done by Al Heyman and the PBC and Showtime Boxing, right? All off of some money, off of the promise of some money that he got from I don't know where the zone is from, somebody that wants to compete against ESPN, right? In the of a fly-by-night streaming app, and the promise of money. So it's just, I'm telling you, man, it's very, very interesting to see. Now, this idea of Deontay Wilder and selling Deontay Wilder this thing where he would say, we're going to get that deal with Deontay Wilder in place before they face Povetkin. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? If the bout is going to continue to grow, then why would you set your price on a match that they're saying is going to grow over time? If they think that the bout between Deontay Wilder is going to be bigger next year than it is this year, if they're being real about it, and that's the case, that it's just going to get bigger, then why would Deontay Wilder settle himself into a price a year ahead of time? Because before it's even set, right? Why would he set his price? Right. So it's just real interesting watching this guy. And And I'm watching him. I watch it not necessarily to, and I think people really should pay very close attention to him, because if you pay really close attention to him, then you can see what he's doing. You can see when people try to do things like that to you. It makes no sense for Deontay Wilder, at least from what I can see, looking at 30,000 foot view, for Deontay Wilder to lock himself in. If the bout's not going to happen if it's not going to be the next bout up, why would Deontay Wilder want to agree to that ahead of time? If the bout's going to get bigger. Eddie Hearn's already shifted what he believed the bout was 3 or 4 times, if that's true. And then how do you know he's even going to take it? Because, they say a lot of things, but then they do different. And then they turn around and do something else. You know what I mean? By 2:00 the same afternoon. But anyway, it is what it is, man. And it's fun watching it. And with that, I'm out. Peace.